Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know it is. It's First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So go ahead and fall in with us. It's me, your boy Trey. My man Bishop won't be here tomorrow. He got a certain emergency he got to tend to, but we hope, everything is fine. We'll be able to join us tomorrow morning and be back in here rocking with us in new high speeds. Of course, like I said, we got special guests, Cornelius Cole. Who does the morning his talk show every Tuesday, the Stimulate Your Mind talk show. And of course, Ron G is in the building, Speak Easy's on as he gets his everything taken care of and set up. But of course, we're here and go ahead and fall in. Shouldn't be late, high speeds. Let's get it. So, Cornelius, what's good with you, bro? How's everything going? You there? You muted? What's good? It's After White. What's good, brother? I ain't seen you in a while, man. How you been doing? What you been up to? Where you been? What's good, Freddie? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on? Come on, come on, come on in. Come on in. So, of course, as everyone comes in, get some of the minorest of things out the way, even though actually they're not minor, pretty major, as we know yesterday. If you're into the PGA tours, of course, 25-year-old world number one Scotty Scheffler won his first Masters by 10 strokes under. Of course, that's shout out to Scotty as he gets his first jacket, green jacket. Of course, if he wasn't, if too far behind, Tiger Woods did compete in the Masters, actually making it through the first cut. However, even Father Time, those injuries and things caught back up with him as he ended up shooting 13 over par, and it didn't fare too well after the fact, but he did get through. Not sure if he's going to compete in any other tournaments throughout the course of the year, but he did compete in that. But again, not to take the shine off of Scotty, as he is the world's number one, and he does win his first jacket with the 10 under strokes. So shout out to Scotty Scheffler, current Masters champion. Cornelius, you good, bro? It has you muted. I see that you muted.
It was
Okay.
a good it was a good 4 days of golf. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I think I think all the Tiger coverage overshadowed the players in the field. Much respect to Tiger Woods, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta love him coming back from all that stuff.
Is it time to hang him
But
up?
no, it's not time to hang him up. It's like, hey, I think he has to work his way in shape. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think that that's where golf is right now, looking for that next star to step in where Tiger's impact, man, that was huge. Like um, I don't know, it was like a huge following for Tiger, but it was a huge thing for the PGA Tour to put them back in things with Tiger. All I can say about it is for the young man to hang in there and play as well as he did and win the whole thing by three. Like I think he won like by three strokes or something like that.
Uh
Um,
huh.
hopefully, that's more golfers like him on the horizon.
Uh huh.
But I think that Tiger's shadow, man, man, it's just huge. Like, and that was more to talk. As I followed the tournament,
Uh huh.
um, it was more about Tiger than it was about the field and the guys that were actually competing. Even on the last day, even yesterday, it was more about Tiger finishing the event, no matter where he finished, more so than the leader, the guy that actually won the green jacket.
Okay, and like you said, it even goes in to say, as far as like you was just saying, the fact of Tiger, like you said, the guy that won the green jacket, like no one knows who was, and he's the world's number one at this point. So you know, what I'm saying, hopefully, good morning. What's going on, JP? What's going on? So of course, of course that adds to it, where we're not sure how, not sure where or whom he was, but he's the world's number one. And even to a novice person, or even not to hear it, but like you said, of course, not to mention that, like you said, Tiger's dominance has been that where in the last couple of years, I don't think there's been anyone that has won consecutive Masters in which every year is someone different, someone new. So is that a shout out where, you know, we have a better institution of players and stuff that's coming along, or is it basically that there's no one good and no one to be able to dominate the sport now? And I'm not sure which one it is. Ron, what's good with you, bro? How you doing, fam?
What's good, fellas? What's good? Monday morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good? What's standing? That's going on, sir. So, Ron, we was just talking about Scotty Scheffler winning the Masters jacket, and how it was, and Cornelius was just saying how it was for the most part dominated by the fact that Tiger was playing. Were you checking that you catch a little of that, or do you think there's any truth to that?
I think it's a little truth to that. I saw Tiger finish in the 70s, so it was a pretty. I guess it was a good performance by him. But the winner, dominating, that's dope. Don't know who it is, but that's dope.
And that's what just Cornelius was just saying, like no one knows who he is, and he's the world's number one at that. 25 years old, world's number one. But maybe it's us being old fuddy duddies and just, you know, saying we want who we want there, and we don't want to let that person go.
Very true.
So of course, in MLB, Major League Baseball started this season in this series with, of course, 15 games, weekend series. Some of the series has already been taken care of. At least 3 series are still going. Of course, the Oakland A's were able to win their the Philadelphia Phillies were able to win their series versus the Oakland A's. The Tampa Bay swept the Orioles in their series. Chicago White Sox won their series versus Detroit Lions. The New York Mets won their series versus the Washington Nationals. Who else was there? Oh, the Toronto Blue Jays end up winning their series versus the Texas Rangers. The Kansas City Royals are still playing their series against the Guardians. The Seattle Mariners still engaged in their series with the Twins. St. Louis is up in their series versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Chicago Cubs won their series versus Milwaukee. Unfortunately, the Colorado Rockies won their series versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. San Francisco Giants versus the Miami have won their series. The Houston Astros win their series versus the Los Angeles Angels. San Diego Padres wins versus the Diamondbacks, and of course, Bishop's love New York Yankees wins their series versus the Boston Red Sox, as the MLB starts off quick and with a bang, with no hits really. Well, one series doesn't play for the most part, but it's baseball season, gentlemen. I don't know how much baseball y'all into, but it is baseball. Cornelius, is baseball one of your strong points?
Yes. I'm really, I'm a Yankee fan, of course. I'm out of Houston. I root for the Astros sometimes, but I'm a Yankee fan. It just has something to do with when I got into baseball. I won't get into all that, but but I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm a traditional Yankee fan. What I'm seeing in baseball right now, after them having a temporary lockout, coming back. I think the pitching is a thing right now. A lot of hit batters, lots of wild pitches. I think the short training camp has affected the pitchers mostly, more so than the hitters. So far early on, hopefully the pitchers can get that right. I think it might take them a few, maybe a month or so to get acclimated to how fast things have transpired for them as far as getting out there now. But pitching is going to be a problem.
Ron, which team, if any, or do you look at in the when it comes to the MLB? You're muted, bro.
I've been a Cardinals fan.
St. Louis,
all my life, and transition to allow my second team to be the Dodgers, LA, for the most part. So that's my bandwagon squad, and that's what I'm rooting for.
Dodgers or St. Louis still?
The Dodgers is who I'm rooting for.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Big Blue record crew. Let's get it. They
just so dang sexy, man. They stole the Braves' best player. It's just year after year. But they're going to be great at the end of the season and collapse. So,
in true Los Angeles form, unfortunately, and maybe get one here and there. I want to get those asterisk type quotes away because I'm feeling a certain type of way as we finna get into the NBA. But as we I feel a certain type of way. They're trying to say that LA, the Dodgers won the season because it was shortened. They're trying to tell me that the Lakers won the season because it was in the bubble. So we need to simply kill all the noise and basically get in position and be like, you know what? Through the rigors of these long seasons, we are still victorious. And you know what I'm saying? And just wait for it. We're just going to wait for it. So, of course. Getting into this NBA slate, last night, as we know, was the final season finale, in which 20 teams continue on for an opportunity to play in the playoffs. The other 12 teams go home and take a seat and are soon to be joined by another 4 teams. So, and that, Ron, Cornelius, over the weekend, the Joker, Mr. Jokic, became the first player to hit 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists in NBA history. Joel Embiid, the first center to receive the scoring title in over 22 years. Both these gentlemen are potentially 1 and 2 when it comes down to the MVP. Gentlemen, I ask y'all, where do you put these two guys in the MVP race? Is it Jokic 1, Embiid 2, Jokic 1? Which one? How y'all feeling?
You already know my answer, and I'm guessing Cornelius is with my answer because he had to go. So,
Corn, Cornelius, you still there?
It ain't even close. Embiid.
What? You really believe that? I get it. Cornelius, bruh.
So,
go ahead, Ron.
What are we going to say? Is because of stats that he's better? Because performance, domination, team record, team performance is all Embiid. And everybody want to say Joker lost his players. Don't forget Embiid had his best player sit out all year due to lower back injuries, I guess is what we're going to call it.
So what we all right, wait, Cornelius, you there, bro? Okay. Do you, Cornelius, please help Ron. Is it Joker, Jokic, or Embiid MVP this year?
I would have to say Embiid, man.
Oh my gosh, y'all bugging.
What you mean? Oh my god!
I mean, he's doing something like he's done something that no.
Richard. How has Joker been more consistent when the Sixers have a better record?
I mean, 30 points a game, Shaq hasn't done down.
Is that Cornelius or is it me?
It's for that
It's
reason.
Cornelius.
And then his team.
Go ahead, Cornelius. His team
Is better.
It's so with you saying that, Cornelius, and Applewhite. I agree, Anthony. If it could have been anyone else, I think on a slight come up, it should have been Luka. But unfortunately, it's not. But when you look at it, why isn't it not Luka?
How? When he came in overweight and did not play pretty much like the first 20 to 30 games at the top of his level. So he has like 66% of the season played at the top notch. But okay, Luka.
But so when you look at it, Embiid, yes, like we keep on talking about how Luka, on the correction, how Embiid played with, saying he was without Ben Simmons, but we're not going to act like halfway through the season he did not get James Harden. And
it wasn't halfway. It was 2 months ago. It was February.
20 games, because they did play a stint over half the season in the first half before the All-Star break. But he, correction, at the break of the at the what's that called, the trade deadline, they did acquire James Harden, which and he has that. So Embiid has had, and we can't knock him for that he has had better players, but Jokic has done more with less.
Wow.
He's done more with less. He doesn't, he continues to be the triple trouble machine, in which that means he's getting assists. As a center, he's leading his team in assists. And when he's playing with, he's not playing with the best of players for the most part.
So since you clearly want to debate me this morning and get on my bad side, which team has more stability?
Your Sixers.
What? Come on, the Sixers been a dumpster fire. You lying. If you had to pick which team and organization you wanted to be at in the middle of the season.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sign me up for
from an organization standpoint, yeah, of course it's Denver. But when you look at, okay, I could go play with better players, it's Philly. But from an organizational standpoint, yeah, when you look at how the organization is presumably being run, you might feel like, okay, Denver is a better suited place for me to go do that. If I'm looking at over the course of the season, there's going to be moves made, as there was no moves made for the most part. Y'all acquired James Harden and moved a couple of pieces. So y'all got
all the pieces.
Y'all moved some pieces. Oh, I mean, and then I don't know if it was wise. I guess they had to move Curry and Drummond, which I think had they not did that, y'all might be like a hard act to follow in the East. But they did. We'll go ahead and move them. But it would be, I think it would be Philly.
So I feel like Denver has the second best player on their team if we don't count James Harden or Ben Simmons. And Bucks players are better than Philly. I'm happy you brought the Bucks, because I would go with Giannis over
Stop
Joker.
it. Really? Three times in the row MVP?
He wouldn't be 3 because Joker won it last year. Would you rather?
Oh yeah, you're right. 3 of the last 4.
I had to choose between Joker getting 2. Does he deserve 2? Or Giannis getting 3? Giannis deserves 3. This is his league. He's the reigning champion, and he came back and did it again, and he's going to show us again in the playoffs. But we saw Joker with his best players riding with him in the bubble. Jamal Murray was dropping like 45 piece. Where was Joker at? He didn't get it done. And now that all his players done left and he get to be bad team, good stats guy, everybody want to go crazy. It's okay. We're going to learn in the playoffs when he gets sent home in the first round.
Who going home? Well, okay, maybe so. Cornelius, go ahead, man. I see you smirking. I feel like that you have some. We see you. We see you lip this movie, but we can't hear you.
You gotta turn that brightness up too, see, so we can see you. And it's not even about Joker winning anything in the first round. He got Golden State. He better get at least 2 games, right? He gotta go at least 6. If this man get gentleman swept, it's just gonna be like all that hype for what? When the Embiid gets the ball, go back to that Embiid one, sir, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, he's giving Embiid's case. Because he was still out there dropping 50 pieces, integrating one of the most selfish basketball players in. I don't know why you want to make it seem like we got James Harden. Like that's been such a, it's not like we got a prime Kobe. The media been running through James Harden. It's a laughing stock. It's a working process.
Good morning, Jackie. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see you here with us. You there, Cornelius?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. You got you. Yeah, so go ahead, please state your case, gangster. State your case. I see in a room of 1 million people, I have to stand there alone. Applewhite is with me though, but go ahead, Cornelius, go ahead.
I mean, Giannis is the truth right now. He's man. I mean, from last year's finals to this season, I mean, you can make a case for him for MVP, even though I still think it's Joel Embiid. I think you can make a case for Giannis.
Right,
man.
I see Cornelius said put Giannis at 2 and put Joker at 3.
Right. I agree. Giannis is man, everything that you want from a basketball player. He's giving you that consistently. My only thing with the Joker is it has nothing to do with where he is as a team. You know, they don't have all their pieces or whatever. But when it comes down to it, he gets pushed around out there consistently when it comes to the playoffs. And that's any big man that he goes up against. They just seem to just push him around. I think he should work on the defensive end of his game. He's a good rebounder. He's a good passer. He's a good scorer. But I think he's just a little timid when it comes to getting the dirty work done down there. I think Giannis has proven that he'll do whatever it takes to win, man. That's where I'm at with it. I think when you start comparing the two, you're going to see, I agree with Ron, that you're going to see in the playoffs the mentality of those players. Nowadays, it's about beast mode. It's about that energy that you bring to the game. Giannis seems to bring it on both ends of the court every night. The Joker, you only hear about his offensive exploits and stuff, man. You know, the passing, the shooting the ball. You never hear about him blocking a shot when it counts the most. I mean, Giannis up there at the rim said, "You're not getting that. You're not getting this dunk right now. You're not getting this layup right now." I mean, to me, that's where it is when it comes to these players nowadays.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna be watching Sixers Bucks in the conference finals, and Joker gonna be home in Europe in probably about a week in Slovenia. And Trey, you can go kick it with your boy since you riding with him so much.
So okay, but let's go back to what Anthony was just asking, Rod. So what we're saying is Harden is not making Philadelphia better.
Right, the Harden, we gave up everything. We gave up Ben Simmons, Defensive Player of the Year, Seth Curry, Sixth Man of the Year, Andre Drummond, best backup big in the league,
most improved player.
We thought we was getting 2018 Harden. If we're getting 2018 Harden, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists, then without a doubt, that's Kobe and Shaq. But we have not seen anything close. Have y'all seen that Harden?
No, they just talking about how he's even lacking 40-point games this year, which is his staple.
Right. We're going into the playoffs counting on Tobias Harris to finally step up. Ain't gonna happen. And Maxey. I just need 18, 12 assists from Harden. I just need him to be a basic average point guard. Not average. That's a pretty great point guard.
Of course. Of course, we're gonna probably get on this a little more as we go through the recaps from yesterday's game. But we do know Hayward is out and not available to play in the playing game for the Charlotte Hornets, as he is dealing with another injury. He has his foot is being casted because they need to have it rest and stabilize it. He's going to be evaluated 2 weeks from now if Charlotte is not gone. What's going on, Steve? he's milk
He's
carton
milk carton missing. Talk about Harden.
Or he might have been talking about Tobias. Which one are you talking about, Steve? Which one?
Put them on a milk carton together. Really won't go too far? Okay. We got the easiest route to the conference finals. We don't got to play the Nets or the Bucks. We got to play the Raptors. Stop it. We got to worry about Spicy P. Spicy P or Embiid. If the Sixers lose, it's going to be like the Hawks all over. So,
well, I think it's going to come down for the Sixers. I think it's going to come down to the coaching again. As far as last year, coming off the rails last year, Doc Rivers not being able to make the adjustments needed when Ben Simmons wouldn't shoot the ball last year. I think Doc got to do a better job of putting. Man, he has to do a better job of putting players on the court that first of all want to be on the court and won't shy away from stuff. I mean, you got to be able to pull that trigger. You can't just let fans and media and stuff dictate how you coach your team, man. It's like those things definitely affected them. Doc's job is on the line. So I say conference finals. Yeah, if he doesn't make it that far, I think even if he makes it that far and they don't make it to the finals, I think Doc Rivers has a short life. You know, the rumors are already starting to buzz about Mike D'Antoni, which is something that I would like to talk about a little bit later. As far if we could, the Mike D'Antoni, like, why does this guy keep getting a shot when he ain't winning nothing? But anyway, you know, but anyway, Doc, man, he has a lot of pressure on him to prove that he can get these players to work. Even though I'm sure that he would have liked to have kept all those guys that you mentioned. I mean, Drummond is a great backup. Seth Curry could be in the running for six man. Should be mentioned as far as six man goes. But really, the biggest thing is Harden. Where I have no faith in James Harden. Being from Houston, seeing what he did to that organization and not working himself. You know, Harden has blamed everybody except himself. He's not working as hard to be in shape, to be there, you know, to put in the work. He's never improved on the defensive end of the court. I think at some point we have to say that James Harden, it's time to put up or shut up, man. You know, it's time for us to see what you got in the playoffs or just be quiet.
So of course, before you get to that statement that Applewhite made about Philly, Ron. So hey, good morning, April. What's going on, Noah? Good morning, brother. So one of the things in which it's funny that you talked about the whole coaching thing, in which we're about to get to in a hot second, because of course there's speculation. There has been speculations swirling in reference to Russell Westbrook possibly going to Charlotte during the off season. But as I was looking and researching over the weekend, I kind of figured out. I think I know where the whole Russell Westbrook versus Westbrook versus Vogel situation came from, for the most part. So of course we all know Russell Westbrook has been stated and said that there was a little rift between him and Frank Vogel for the most part. What it was stated is that Russell Westbrook never really respected Frank Vogel. Why is it that they didn't respect Frank Vogel? Remember, a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, a month or so ago, I spoke about how it was said that Russell Westbrook doesn't know his role in LA, right? And it looks like y'all have the side eye. So it was stated that he doesn't know his role in LA. And he finally came out and spoke about it, where he talked about how when he first got there, it was said, and it was I'm paraphrasing for the most part, that the moment Frank first said, anyone who gets the rebound can bring the ball up the court. Of course, Russell, being who he is, stated like, I'm the point guard. I bring the ball up the court. Frank responded back with, no, anyone brings the ball up the court. We have Talon Horton Tucker. We have Austin Reeves. We have Malik Monk. We have LeBron. We have AD. They all can bring the ball up the court. Russell still stated that I am the point guard. I bring the ball up the court. And so at that point, now we have a situation to where it sounds like a free-flowing offense, which isn't conducive to his. I feel bad because I have sit up and talked about it and sit up and drug Russell when it comes to that. And now hearing this, I see where the frustration can lie at. So,
Frank Vogel.
What you say now, Ron?
I said if the frustration comes from Vogel, but
yeah. Oh no, you good. So yeah, like you said, it comes from Frank Vogel. Like he basically or maybe it comes from maybe we're putting the wrong putting it on the wrong person. Maybe it comes from Pelinka because you brought him here when this doesn't fit my system. Or maybe even LeBron, as they keep on talking about how LeBron sit up and got him there, as opposed to them getting DeMar. LeBron stated he wanted Russ. And so it doesn't fit the system for the most part. In which now we have it where most likely Frank Vogel is gone, and who has come into the fray is discuss Doc Rivers as one of the potential people which they're possibly looking at going after. So Ron, Cornelius, what y'all say about that? Go ahead, Ron.
I thought they just gave Vogel a 5-year extension. Oh no, he's out.
He's out. Yeah, they fired him.
So with Frank and him saying everybody gets the rebound on my team. I mean, anybody can bring the ball up on the squad. Okay, y'all aren't the Golden State Warriors. Y'all aren't any of these open teams because guess what? Russell Westbrook is not a shooter. And if the philosophy besides saying is everybody can bring the ball up, meaning we're going to spread the court, run to your corners,
set up.
Well, no, that's not your team. You have Russell Westbrook. His most successful times is him getting a rebound and getting up the court before everybody and creating. Why are you fighting against him
downhill? Exactly. His strength is get the ball and go. Y'all, let's go. And so I think that's, but again, I'm like, I know Frank and Russ have been the scapegoats, and maybe Pelinka was ill-advised or did the wrong thing by bringing Russ to LA when Frank was not going to use him to his strength. Cornelius,
look, we can talk all day about who did what. The truth of the matter is, it's called professional sports. It's called professional sports. Sometimes the athlete has to make a slight adjustment to their game. All season long, all you've been hearing is Russ is not going to change. He's not going to change. He's going to play his game. I mean, you come to this team and you have all these pieces, all these dynamic pieces, but I think every single one of them weren't professional enough to make an adjustment to the game, starting from the king on down, as far as like who's doing what. I mean, a coach can only do so much with all those personalities, man. It's like the players have to put forth the effort. It's like, as good as Westbrook would be with the ball in his hands, that's going to take away from AD. That's going to take away from LeBron. I mean, sometimes you have to figure out a way to make those adjustments. It's like if one thing that I learned from paying attention to like the Phil Jackson-led teams, he always had talent, especially when he was in the Lakers organization where it was star-studded. Remember, he had Rick Fox, Horace Grant. He had so many guys on that team, not to mention Shaq, Kobe, all those guys. And how it's able to work is everybody understanding their roles from the jump. I think Vogel was voiceless in this, man. Like, and of course he pays the ultimate penalty. But it's like he's voiceless when everybody knows that LeBron's pretty much pulling the strings. It's like, LeBron, you wanted this, but how are you guys making this work? Is the thing. It's like nobody wanted to take less or do what it had to do. The Lakers are not in the playoffs because they wouldn't play on the defensive end. I don't care who was in the jersey. They didn't play on the defensive end of the ball. But did you expect Melo to play defense? Did you expect Russell Westbrook to play defense? I mean, no. I mean,
it wasn't burned there for that.
Right. Malik Monk, was he a defensive guy? I mean, who's defensive? Who you got rid of the defensive guys? You shipped them out of town. You got rid of the hustle guys. And now you just have a bunch of name brand guys in jerseys that say, you get it. It wasn't just Russ, man. Go back and watch some of the games. You'll see it's not just Russ, it's everybody collectively. But Russ is like, you have to change the game a little bit. It's like, we don't need triple doubles from you here, you know. And the last thing I want to say is, you saw the same thing with the LeBron led Miami Heat, right? Whereas, no disrespect to Chris Bosh and all that stuff, man, but in an interview once, Chris Bosh said, they said, "Hey, why you not down there rebounding and stuff, man?" And he said, "That's not my game. My game is out here shooting threes." That's the mentality of the players these days, is that if it's not my game, I'm not going to make an adjustment. But it's professional sports. I mean, Scottie Pippen didn't want to play with Rodman, but he sucked it up and played with him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to do half the things that he did, but he sucked it up and played with him. It's called professional sports, making those adjustments and having a coach that can communicate that to the players. That, hey, man, you might have to make a sacrifice here to your game, right? I mean, would you want to be Phil Jackson and tell Michael Jordan, "Hey, man, you know, if you pass the ball a little bit more, we'll be a better team," right? But Phil had to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Phil had to do it. Somebody has to do it.
And so I can completely I completely agree with what you're saying, Cornelius. But also take a look at it again, at what is been the most, and I think what you're saying is the reason why I think Frank Vogel thought that that's what Russell was going to do at some point, because the brass, quote unquote, was it was said that they wanted Frank Vogel to bench Russ and bring him off the bench. He relented to do that and kept him in the starting lineup. However, he did start removing him from the lineups come down the stretch in the four quarters, because he was a liability on defense or whatever the case may be. And then that's where he basically put him at where now. But now I think what's going to happen is, well, what has already happened is Vogel's out the door, and I don't foresee Russell going anywhere unless it's just, a deal that they can't pass up.
Hey, CC, who the Lakers got in the playoffs?
Duly noted. Okay. Moving on. So of course, damn it. So of course,
the Lakers all 2 hours, but they don't deserve it.
Right. So Simmons possibly can play during the playoffs if Brooklyn is able to get into the playoffs. Are y'all buying that, or is it just just something to be saying?
Yes, I don't know why. Simmons is like my stepchild. I went and watched all his. He started warming up pregame, and boy, I watched like 10 of his shots and almost wanted to go check into a mental camp, because I was like, oh my gosh, it was just brick after brick. That man was trying to break the backboard, but it's looking like he's gonna come back. I don't know why he waiting.
Yeah, I didn't hear about a back injury until he went to the Nets, right? I didn't know anything about his back or him having any injuries or anything. I thought it was the mental health thing or whatever that was keeping him off the court, and other problems in Philly. But I think if he did come back, however many minutes he can give them will help them tremendously on another team that's offensively geared and doesn't really, Drummond, good defensive guy, but you need some other defense. I think for the Nets, as you saw last year in the semifinals, it came down to just a couple of plays where you got to be able to get those stops. Like, you don't have to stop a team all game, but in the crucial moments, man, you got to be able to get that one or two stops or something. And I think Ben Simmons can help them in those respects. Rebounding there, but we know he's not going to give you much offensively, but defensively, I think he could help. And I'm anxious to see the young man get back out there. Whether this season, next season, whatever. I'm anxious to see him play.
Okay. So of course, Ron, you wasn't here for, or maybe we did get a chance. No, you wasn't here for the pettiness in which I deeply disdain. But of course, last night the Sacramento Kings traveled to for the Phoenix Suns to take on the Suns on their home court, in which there was nothing really approved because as they locked up the top seed in the NBA, the Suns took the L 109-116. The Kings was led by the 19 points apiece from Damian Jones, as well as Justin Holiday, as well as Dante Vincenzo of 19 points, 3 rebounds, three assists. As DiVincenzo has stated, he's upset with the organization because he feel like they railroaded him and kept him off the court, so that way he didn't build his value up. But I'm very sure that is a conversation for another time. The Phoenix Suns in the losing effort were led by Landry Shamet's 27 points, 15 points from Ishmael Wainwright, 12 points from Cameron Johnson, 14 for Bismack Biyombo. So, but the problem that I have, Ron and Cornelius, is I'm not trying to make this a show about the Lakers, and it isn't past tense. But the problem I had is 2 games before the Phoenix Suns played the Lakers, Chris Paul nor Booker nor Aiden were playing. The night that they played the Lakers, up jumps the Boogie, all 3 of them in the lineup. The next game after they played the records, all of them are sitting down again. Why? The disrespect, bruh. The pettiness.
Back to the Lakers like that.
The pettiness. I just have to sit up and state it as I look up, but it's unfortunate. I get it, you know what I'm saying? And now that's, you know what I'm saying? If that's not bulletin board material, what'd you say now?
I said unacceptable because we can talk about that one game, but if we're going to talk about the Lakers, what happened when they played the Spurs, the team that they was competing for the spot with? They had 2 games against them and 2 games against the Charlotte. Is it the Hornets? Which one is that in the West?
It was 2 games. It was 2 games against the
New Orleans Pelicans. My bad.
It was 2 games against the Pelicans, 2 games against the Nuggets in their last games, and one but they didn't win the games they should have lost. I mean, they didn't win the game.
Last one.
They lost. They went 4-9 in the last 13.
So let's talk about those losses to the New Orleans Pelicans without Zion and not the Suns.
Let's not act like they didn't have CJ. But I do, you know, I got it. Of course,
just want to be mad.
Yes, I do. I am. I'm angry this year. I'm angry.
Well, ask yourself this question: is it really pettiness towards the Lakers, or is it pettiness towards LeBron James, man? It's like you got to dethrone the king, man. Like any way possible, right? You got to keep him out of it.
And then it was a team without LeBron. They knew LeBron was a player.
Think about it, Trey. They're the 1 seed. They are clearly looking at their schedule like, oh, the Lakers could possibly get in the play, and then we're going to have to deal with LeBron and AD in the first round. Let's make sure that don't happen. You would do the same thing.
Exactly.
I would.
Exactly.
I would. Kick them when they down. Speaking of course, the Pelicans, they played host to the Golden State Warriors. They basically hosted the Clay coming out show as the Pelicans did not hold off, losing 107 to 128. The Warriors, Klay Thompson, 41 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists from Jordan Poole, and 18, 5, and 2 from Jonathan Kuminga. The Pelicans was led by Najee Marshall's 19 points, 15 points from Trey Murphy III, as well as an additional 17 points from Gary Clark. CJ McCollum, in 6 minutes of play, 1 assist, 1 rebound, no points. So obviously they went ahead and pulled their players and relented to the Warriors, who did get a chance to lock up the 3 seed for their playoff run. What's good, Alvin? What's going on, bro?
Clay said, "I'm coming out. I want
the world to know
that the splash is back." I love to see it, Clay. Let's see what the Warriors do.
Miami, your boy, Victor Oladipo. What, you know what I'm saying? Is he on a tear? Do we have a problem in Miami? You got 2 microwave scorers coming off the bench. Of course, there's not enough balls to go around for them at the end of the day, but you potentially have 2 players coming off your bench that can get you 20 at any given time. In Victor Oladipo and Tyler Hero. Miami, however, was not victorious as they lost 125 to 111. Like I said, though, the Heat was led by Victor Oladipo's 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Javonte Smart contributed with 20 points and 5 rebounds, 16 points from Haywood Highsmith. the Orlando Magic were led by 21 points from R.J. Hampton, 21 points from Mohamed Bamba, 17 points from Tuma Kiki. Maurice Wagner with 14, 15 points from Brzezikis and Kennedy, and Fultz with 10 points, 15 assists in his double-double effort. Orlando was acting like they had something to play about, but unfortunately, it didn't work. Gentlemen, what do you think about Miami? Are they the team to beat in the East? They do have the number 1 seed.
No, they are not the team to beat. I would say that strongly. The Bucks are still the team to beat over there. Knock them off, you have a good chance of winning it all, even. But Miami's problem is they have to spread the ball too much. They don't really have Jimmy Butler is not really Jimmy Buckets, man. When it comes down to it, I think in crucial moments of games, you'll see where the Heat are. They got to have a little bit of luck on their side. They don't have anybody that can definitively take over the game in those final minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of these teams, you got Durant and Kyrie on one team. You got Giannis on another team. You got Embiid. Who knows what Harden's going to give you? I'm just saying, Miami, who you going to? Where's the rock going when you really need this bucket?
Ron?
They don't know. Tyler Hero.
Mr. Microwave. We might have another Jimmy Neutron showing in Duncan Robinson. We never know.
I think the over under for the amount of fights that the Heat get in this playoff run is over 1.5. Like you said it, Jimmy Buckets ain't Jimmy Buckets no more, but yet he still walks around like he's that guy, and they're like, you might should pass the ball to us.
Get the ball to Tyler.
Yep. But that's Sixers round 2. Sixers Heat, as long as they don't lose in the first round. And they just there's no way Bam could hang with Embiid. It's gonna be 45-point nights. 45, 45, 45.
Of course, Brooklyn Nets faced off against the Indiana Pacers at home. It's been a blessing for them having Kyrie, because I don't know if they would be in this position had Kyrie not came back. But I digress, because he is back, and Brooklyn was able to get the 134-126 lead. If you're watching, I know this is going to make you smile. However, the comments that ensue after that might not. Of course, the Pacers led by O'Shea Brissett's 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 17 points from Tyrese Halliburton, 14 points from TJ McConnell, 10 points from Lance Stevenson as he continues to do work as in this late in his career. I wonder will he be back next year. The Nets, like we said, was led by 35 points from Kyrie Irving, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 20 points apiece from Kevin Durant and Andre Drummond, 10 points from Kessler, 14 points from Nick Claxton as they went ahead and were able to dispatch the Indiana Pacers and were locking up the 7th seed, I believe.
Wow. So Brooklyn Stadium completely sold out last night, 100%. Which just lets me know the city is behind them. And how many assists KD get last night, man?
KD pulled down. Hold on, let me go back. He
was almost double. It's almost 20. He threw up 16 assists. Kyrie 75% shooting. If Ben Simmons come back, I don't see anybody beating the Nets more than one game. They not the Bucks. They'll gentlemen sweep the Bucks. But I don't know. It's hard to say because Giannis, we've seen him do anything, so there's nothing he can't do. But
I don't think they would sweep the Bucks. I think it'll be another 7-game series just because the Bucks. Yeah, just because the Bucks play defense, man. Drew Holiday and Middleton, those guys get after it on the perimeter, and as long as you got Giannis somewhere back there willing to block shots, willing to step up, take charges, and things like that. Is going to
which is not a good thing. That's not what we need from Giannis, because that's going to wear. We need him to run them halfback dives.
But I still think I think that it'll be difficult to eliminate a team like the Bucks, especially when they're all on their game. Like if they come out and play like they played last year, it will be an interesting series as far as the way that they did last year. Brooklyn has the best offense to me in the playoffs right now when those guys are clicking. They have the best offense. But like I said, you saw it last year. It came down to overtime, and even without Kyrie and all that stuff, Durant, how far Kevin Durant was able to take them. And they could have very easily have beaten the Bucks last year. But I think the mentality of the Bucks this year is knowing what they are and knowing how to step up. But for the Nets, the biggest thing is going to come down to, man, can they get a stop? Can you stop somebody? I mean, you can score 130, but if you give up 131, Ron, what are you going to do?
So my thing with the Bucks is I got to see how healthy their center is. Is Brook Lopez coming back? I'm trying to see this injury report, but you know what I was saying with Giannis, that's what his biggest thing this season has been, is he's had to be the center. And we don't want him down there we only want him really down there in the last 5 minutes of the game. But all that grounding and pounding on him is going to take away from what they do on offense. Because they don't have anybody else that's going to step up. We kind of got Middleton.
Well, yeah.
Wait, what about Portis?
Trey.
Who else? No, not
Really
buying that.
gonna lead off Portis? You could at least say Drew Holiday.
Well, I thought with that's without saying, but I would think Portis is going to be expected to do some damage, as he has been in tow as their other go-to individual. But I agree. Like, you don't want Giannis doing all the heavy lifting, because that wears and tears over the course of the playoffs. You got it's a 16 game sprint, 16 game slate in which you need to get before you can raise that trophy again. And if someone starts to deploy that Detroit Piston type basketball, in which he believes he's built for, he hasn't seen it yet, and it might actually cause a problem.
It looked like Lopez is going to be semi-healthy.
Oh, well, that's somebody that can go. He can
go
get it.
It's so important because we forget how much he spread the floor on offense.
Oh,
like,
he does.
Play in the paint. He could just stand in the corner.
He could get buckets too.
Meanwhile, be a defender.
Yeah, so it might end up working out. Of course, speaking of tall people playing in the paint, the Utah Jazz traveled to Portland last night. Of course, at no point did we feel like there was a threat here. Portland playing host, losing 111 to 80, as the Jazz was led by Honcho Herman Gomez, 22 points, 18 points and 13 rebounds from Rudy Gobert, 11 points from Jared Butler, 9 points, 11 rebounds from Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley with 14 points. Of course, Donovan did not play last night. Daniel House, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. The Trailblazers led by Reggie Perry, 20 points, 10 points from Brandon Williams, and then, of course, a bunch of other players in which we have never really heard of. Of course, we know Ben McLemore, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 12 points from CJ Eberle, as the Portland Trailblazers go ahead and ride into the sunset with their 27-55 point record, and await the reemergence of Dame time going into next year, if Dame is still going to be there, which is more likely. I think he feel like he has something to prove.
To who? For what?
That he can build that the Philly that Portland is a place to play, and that he can do damage there.
What?
I don't think he wants to leave. I don't think he's going to leave Portland. I think he's too loyal to it.
Dame Lil, man. I don't know the way that they're doing that organization right. The way that organization is performing right now, I don't know if Dame should stay. Whatever loyalty. I mean, that was a team that looked like, like they're on the cusp of doing something, and now they've blown the whole thing up. CJ is no longer there. And now they're going to be in the lottery or something. Like they go, so they went from like playoff potential to lottery pick like real fast. I don't see how they can bounce back from that so quick unless you do bring in free agents. But free agents?
He needs to bring somebody in. Do you think it had to be with Chauncey? Do you think Chauncey was the problem?
No, I think it's a disappointment for Chauncey. I can say that much. As far as being a new head coach, coming in, getting your first shot, and then everything goes to pieces on you like that. I'm not sure that was the design. I hope that wasn't the design, but I think you give Chauncey a couple of more years to right that ship and get his pieces in there. Like get people that he has confidence in versus inheriting a team. That wasn't ready to compete. It appears like who expected this from the Portland Trailblazers? They were one of the biggest disappointments to me outside of your Lakers, man. Like a huge disappointment as far as how the season turned out for them. The expectations were through the roof with a new coach. Maybe he brings in this mentality that we can get stuff done, or we'll step away. And now, like I said, it's like all the pieces. So what are they going to do from there? And who's going to want to go play in Portland with Dame? Even in the Clyde Drexler days, nobody really wanted to go play in Portland. So who wants to go play in Portland?
Let's play this game. If you could pick to own a franchise right now, would you rather have Portland or Houston?
Houston.
I would take Houston.
Portland or Detroit? Detroit. Come on, Cade Cunningham. They got a lot of pieces and they got a future. They have a very bright future.
I would take Detroit just because of the young talent.
Yeah, D-Town.
Portland or Orlando?
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando, again, young talent.
And you could put you can switch Portland with Washington because they got the same issue with Bradley Beal, man. They need to free these guys. But
right.
They go to their cities. It drives me crazy.
Right. It's time for Bradley Beal to do something different as well.
Someone that isn't having problems with where he is at, Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics were victorious, winning 139-110 versus the Memphis Grizzlies that did not play any of their top players. Of course, Jason Tatum, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 18 points from Jaylen Brown, 11 points from Daniel Tice with 10 rebounds, 13 points from Al Horford, 12 from Peyton Pritchard. They basically emptied the click. Everyone got a chance to spin last night. The Grizzlies, like we said, did not only had 8-man rotation. Leading scorer was Zaire Williams, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 20 points from Santi Aldama. John Kochner did get his first triple-double with 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. Of course, they rested their top players. Actually, their whole starting five was able to get a chance to rest. But they, of course, a blowout did ensue, 29-point win by the Boston Celtics. Cleveland and Milwaukee. Speaking of Giannis yesterday, the Bucks were not able to get the W, losing by 18 as they took on the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. The Bucks, of course, was led by Sandro. I'm not going to even Makashvili, 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. 27 points from Thanis. Thanis showed up and said that I'm still Antetokounmpo to talk about. 27 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 24 points from Jordan Norwood, 18 points from Lydell Whittington. The Cavaliers, 32 points from Kevin Love, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 23 points from Lauri Markkanen, 15 points from C.D. Osman, 18 points, 10 rebounds from Evan Mobley as he makes his return. Ray John Rondo was out there cooking. If you watch the game, diamond all over the court in true fashion. Gentlemen, I ask y'all, is Cleveland ready, or was just a finale that because there was no Giannis and company available?
You said it.
I think a lot of it is it's to be determined as far as are they ready. You'll see in the play-in game what they bring to the table. They're not all the way there yet, but I give them a lot of props for bouncing back after LeBron left them hanging. The teams that he leaves a lot of time going to the dumpster for a while, and then they have to come back. So I like what they're doing. They got a great nucleus going there, but I don't know how far that's going to get them this season.
Ron, you just said basically what I said. No Giannis and no biscuit.
I feel like Cleveland could beat Brooklyn in their first playing game without Ben Simmons. They got the defense. They got the creators. Garland should win Most Improved Player this year. I don't think he will, but I know Boston's praying that Cleveland handles business in this play-in and beats Brooklyn, so they don't have to face KD. But I'll give him a chance. I'll definitely give him a chance.
Okay. Of course, last night a blowout, 50 points dropped on the Thunder's head like we didn't expect it. But it did happen. The Thunder's, of course, losing 138 to 188, 88 to 88 from the Los Angeles by the hands of the Los Angeles Clippers. 17 points from Kalek Zakis. From these names, bro. From the Thunder, 16 points apiece from Roby and Vitt. Zaire Simpson, 17 points. The Clippers, however, was led by 35 points from Amir Coffey, 20 points from Luke Kennard, 17 points for Xavier Moon, 18 points for Brandon Boston, Covington, 9 and 6. Easy Zubac, double with 12 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. It's just without a PG. But that being said, PG is back. The Clippers can play in the play in. What do you think their ceilings is? Their ceiling will be. I'm sorry.
Really, without Kawhi, I could see them like challenging in the first round, but not really going too far. One thing that we've learned about the new Paul George is that something's missing there as far as like when he was with the Pacers, it seemed like he was more ready to take a team on his back and do different things. Now I think he's given in to the pressure. So I like Ron Loe. I think he's a good coach. I think Reggie Jackson and those guys, they play well. Covington, bringing Covington over, all that stuff. I think those moves are good for them. But however, I just think that without Kawhi, they're not going too far in the playoffs where, the gap between the top teams over there, man, is just ridiculous. So I don't see any of those teams at the bottom doing anything with Phoenix, doing anything with the Grizzlies, doing anything with Golden State.
Ron?
Y'all know what we call Paul George, Pandemic P. I'm here for it. He's going. I see the Clippers winning their play. I don't think they beat Minnesota, but they definitely should beat the Pelicans or the Spurs and get that A seed. But then going to come the collapse. Paul George, 2 for 15, 7 points, 8 rebounds. What the heck happened? Kawhi, you need to come back. I don't know what he's waiting for.
Next year.
As always, this is what he do.
Next year.
Right.
So, of course, you know what I'm saying, represented, Hub City representative. DeMar DeRozan should have been in LA, but we're going to leave that there. Faced off against the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Timberwolves playing the hosts and taking the L 124 to 120. The Bulls was led by 26 points from Ayo Dasamun, 17 points from Troy Brown, 11 assists. To boot, Derrick Jones Jr. dropped 12, 10 points from Tristan Thompson. The Timberwolves, 15 points from Jalen Noel, 13 points from Josh Okogie, 14 points from Nas Reed, 11 from Leandro Balmero as they let their starters rest, but it was not able to get them the win, but they're already in the playoffs. So it doesn't make a difference, but I don't know if it's going to be a good side for them. We will see. Additionally, where was that? I was just ATL showed it. The Atlanta Falcons faced off against the Houston Rockets in H-Town. The Rockets lit the fuse as you had a showing of a career high for the young rook Jalen Green, as he was able to drop 41 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. As he said in a press conference the other day, he's a walking bucket. Ron, I see you rubbing your hands. Do you see great things happening in Houston?
Yeah, everybody was talking down on Jalen, man. He did his thing to finish out this year. I can't wait. I hope they get that first round pick. I want Paolo to go to Houston more than anybody.
Not Jabari?
Jabari, no, because he's more. Either one could work. Jabari's gonna be like that 3-and-D dude, so he's not really gonna be that impacting. Like it's
Okay.
he's gonna be
Panchero doing problems down low.
Right. Jabari's gonna be great for the roster going future. But if you looking like let's talking about getting into the play-in next year, we want Paolo.
A banger.
Yeah, I think they're a few pieces away from really making an impact. Big up to the hometown for hanging in there and finishing off the season strong.
I don't know if they finished strong because they finished in last place, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, they have a chance at, like you said, they have a chance at the number one seed. Of course, Kevin Porter Jr., 26 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 14 points from Garrison Matthews, 11 points from Kenyon Martin Jr. The Hawks was led by the 28 points from Trae Young, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 22 points from DeAndre Hunter, 26 points from Danilo Gallinari, 11 from 5 and 5 from Kevin Horter, as they could not get it taken care of. But like you said, they did show maybe some promise. I wonder is Kevin Porter going to be out of there next year? You know, he has been a sticking point. He has been kind of disobedient, I guess you could say, as when it comes to players. I wonder, is he a locker room problem, and if can they move him, or are they just looking at like his upside, potentially decide like we're going to talk to him and get him back under wraps and see if he see if we can make some do some things with him. Where else? ATL. Charlotte. What is up? I ask y'all guys before I get into this: who is the better ball brother, Lonzo or LaMelo?
It's not close.
Is that right? LaMelo. Anybody says anything other than LaMelo, what are you watching?
And Lamar told us that before they all got drafted.
That LaMelo was the better of the brother?
Yep, that he was going to be a problem. Golden State had the second pick and decided to pick whoever they picked up over him.
Wiseman.
Then they take Wiseman.
Yeah, Wiseman.
I didn't want to see his name.
We'll stay that day over here. So, of course, as we say, Washington Wizards, the Porzingis, the unicorn, faced off with LaMelo Ball and company, and Ball and company represented 16-point dub as they were led 25 points from Terry Rozier, 24 points, 10 rebounds, short triple-double with 1 assist. LaMelo Ball, 14 points from Jalen McDaniels, 14 points from Isaiah Thomas. They've actually had a pretty good record since they signed Isaiah Thomas. The Wizards, led by Ryan Hachimura, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 points from Corey Kispert, 11 points from Vernon Carey Jr., 13 from Daniel Gafford. Gentlemen, does the Charlotte Hornets get into the playoffs?
Who y'all taking, LaMelo or Ice Tray?
Man, the way the Hawks have been playing this year, slightly disappointing that they're even in this position right now after getting our expectations up from last season, right? Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I give the edge slightly to Atlanta just because of that. And Charlotte, it's a lot of new blood. A lot of those guys haven't been in the playoffs, or I've been in this pressure situation probably since college or something, NCAA tournament or something. So, which is way different than the NBA play-in game even. So I'm just looking at, I get an edge to the Hawks in that
one. I don't know. I think there's more talent in Cleveland. I mean, correction, in Charlotte. But as you just said, you
really believe that? Or you just saying that?
No, I really believe there's more talent in Charlotte, bro. I think they have more. I think they have more dogs in Charlotte. Like, of course, you got.
I'll let you get that one.
I think Atlanta is more. I think Atlanta is more battle tested. Of course, like he said, they went to the EFC last year and just wasn't able to pull it off.
Oh yeah, I forget they got Montrezl Harrell too.
Yeah, they got they got dogs, and like I said, they still have, like, we're not gonna, Hayward ain't been there, but let's not act like if they could get him to do what he's done, like take it back the Utah Hayward, then you know what I'm saying, they got problems. Hayward after Utah, he hasn't been anything, but I think if given the opportunity, they can definitely get through the play-in. Now, when they go as far as it goes after that, I don't know, but it's always continued. They may be last year's Atlanta. They may be this year's Atlanta from last year. We don't know. That's what basically where I look at. So, but if they can get past Atlanta, I don't think they're going to get past. They're going to get past the first round. But I think they can get past Atlanta.
Atlanta got a squad. I don't think the game's gonna be close.
Oh, ooh. You think Trey just gonna go in?
Wow, Applewhite really coming for me today. He only said he literally talking to me. Okay, trying to hurt my feelings.
Oh, gracious. The Raptors in New York Knicks. The Raptors traveled to the MSG to take on the Knicks on their home court, of course, winning 105-104. The Raptors was led by Chris Boucher with 21.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 17 points from Gary Trent Jr. Of course, like you said, Spicy P did not make an appearance. Maybe that made the difference. What we do know is that Emmanuel quickly dropped a triple-double, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Obi Toppin, 42 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists without any Julius Randle. Basically, they did all the heavy lifting for the team. Of course, Alec Burke, 10 rebounds, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists as they, New York maybe gave a glimpse of what we have next year. Should Obi Toppin be a starter?
Don't do that.
Okay, he should be a starter about as much as Julius Randle. I'll leave it at that. Like for real. Like I think they paying the wrong people in New York right now. You gotta look at it like being on a mediocre team and being a star of a mediocre team is not the same as being a star on a championship geared team. I think they learned that the hard way with the Julius Randle situation. Guy got paid and didn't show up this year, man. Like just didn't show up. Bucking with the fans, going at it with the coach and things like that. Like he's this superstar player. I think they've learned a valuable lesson. Take it easy on the top and working his way in. I would start somewhere. I would say he would be a good piece on another team, but with the Knicks off the bench would be pretty much, that's pretty much where you are with things. Learn from your mistakes already. Knicks organization, learn from your mistakes already. That it doesn't pay to pay a second tier guy to be your leader when they, like I said, film after film this year, man. One of my biggest disappointments are the New York Knicks. Julius Randle's effort, especially on the defensive end, on the glass and things like that, where it's like tape after tape, you see him not rotating, not putting in the effort. It's about effort, and he put forth no effort. Unless you want
you agree, Ron?
Think about it.
Yep. If I'm owner of the Knicks, I'm getting the TNT and we blowing it up. Goodbye, everybody, except maybe like Obi Toppin. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Knicks headlines trying to get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Bradley Beal or somebody like that.
His trade demand is coming soon, especially after Utah get busted in the playoffs. I give them one game against Luka. They might win one game.
Speaking of Luka, yesterday the San Antonio Spurs faced off against Dallas in Dallas as Luka did play sparingly. Dallas was able to get the W 130-120. However, Golden State was able to win, so they was able to hold off the Dallas and keep them at the 4 seed. The Spurs were led by Keldon Johnson, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 17 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists for Javonte Murray. 18 points from Josh Richards, 12 points from Trey Jones. Of course, Luka's 26.8 rebounds and 9 assists. But Luka also did leave with a calf strain, in which, in minimum, depending on the severity and the location, takes anywhere from 17 days on average to heal. The quickest someone has came back from a calf strain this year has been 3 days. Gentlemen, does Dallas have problems without Luka?
No, because he can play. his game, he could play with a calf strain.
He's a low. He's a low.
He ain't running. He ain't jumping. He ain't playing no defense. He just getting buckets.
I agree with Ron. I don't see that as a problem for Luka.
I don't know, man. Dallas might be issues for Dallas, but it remains to be seen as we get a little closer. Saving some of the best for last. Of course, the Detroit Pistons traveled to Philly to take on the Embiid-less, Harden-less. Who else? Did Maxey play? Maxey didn't play. Like, y'all whole starting five sat out. Maxey did play. Maxey played. Of course, he was Matisse Thybulle, 7.3 rebounds, 1 assist, 25 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists for Maxey.
Didn't play.
Tobias Harris, 6 points.
He was on rebounds. He was on the court, DC, but he didn't play.
Shake Milton with 30 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Pistons.
Paul Reed, 25.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Korkmaz, 9 points, 3 rebounds. Danny Green, what the hell? Danny. You know what? The Lakers knew exactly what they had. That's why Danny's gone. Of course, like I said, the Pistons, led by Luka Garza's 20 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 points from Braxton Key, 14 points from Isaiah Livers, 10 points apiece from Isaiah Stewart and Frank Jackson, as well as Saban Lee finishing with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 86. But Detroit could not take care of it, could not overcome the deficit, and was not able to get the job done. As we've talked about Philly already, their upside, which we said Eastern Conference Finals. Is that what we're saying? Is that what y'all both agree on? For Philadelphia?
Yep. If they don't go 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, season's a disappointment, including trade and everything.
I think that's their expectations. Where they land will heavily depend on
you don't think their expectations is the finals?
Huh?
You don't think their expectations is the finals?
No doubt that's what they were planning on, but I think, like I already said it earlier, Doc Rivers has that pressure on him that if he doesn't at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, his job is over.
He'll be in LA. So what do you think, especially you, Ron, but what do y'all think about the fact that Thybulle is not able to play in Toronto? Is that ever overcomable? Or is he needed that much? If his defensive prowess is that much needed?
No, not against Toronto.
No, not early on. It'll be later on where that'll be an impact. Not early on.
I just expect Tobias to go more than 3 for 10, 6 points in the last game against Detroit. Everybody on the Sixers was lighting him up, and there go Tobias, but.
What I will say is that if Philly doesn't take care of Toronto, it's going to cause a whole problem for a lot of teams, because there's a lot of teams, technically one team in particular whose player is not vaccinated, which means they would not be able to go. They would not have that player in Toronto. So if Philly doesn't take care of business in Toronto, then they're going to set the market for a problem across the Eastern Conference. And of course, the last game of the night, the purple and gold faced off against the Denver Nuggets, in which
with the Lakers and then end with the Lakers.
in which you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all this. I thought the game was over, bro. I really thought the game was over. When I was doing the topics and stuff right now, I was like, that Denver took care of the Lakers, and then I blinked my eyes, and woe and behold, Malik Monk is sitting on the bench with his 40 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist, and Austin Reeves is causing a ruckus. 31-point triple-double, 16 points, 10 assists, as he was able to wield the Lakers to a 146-141 win in OT in Denver, as he showed that, hey, I'm that token. You know the Lakers keep at least one token white guy, which over the course of the last 5 to 10 years, in which, they brung in Mac McClung again. They got rid of. They already had Mac McClung. They got rid of him. They brung him back. you know what I'm saying, to try him out as he was the rookie of the year in the G League. They brought back McClung back, but Austin Reeves, that's why they couldn't keep Caruso. They was like, Austin's not that bad, but we can't have two of y'all. We can't have three of y'all. Someone got to go. And you know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, they had to AC4 had to go. But but Austin Reeves is there. He did damage, 42 points, like you said, triple-double. Additionally, Tyler Horton, 10 points, 18 points from Wayne Ellington, 15 points from Stanley Johnson. Of course, it's not to be said that the Nuggets did play without their starters. Of course, they already had a couple of people that had been out the whole year for the most part. But Jeff Green, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 24 points for Brian Forbes, 17 points from Nashawn Bones Highland, 14 points from Davin Reed, and 25 from Marcus Howard as the young gun. Got hot, but he wasn't able to finish out the game. I was glad we went out with a win. It's unfortunate where he is.
This is egregious, Trey. This is probably the worst disappointing season by a playoff contending championship team to miss the play-in by one game. You got to look at it and just get sick. We cannot beat the Pelicans, and that's why we at home. LeBron, I don't know. I think it just one game.
It's disappointing on so many levels with that. The Lakers, LeBron not playing, key players not playing, coming down the stretch, not knowing what you're going to get night to night from everybody else, and then to hang your hat on the fact that they won the last game against the Nuggets, who
you gotta hurt the good stuff.
Clearly weren't playing, who are clearly preparing for the playoffs right now, saying you can have that game. Okay, well, good for you, Trey, I guess.
It hurts for us because we getting robbed from one of the last years of LeBron's final years, like the things he's been able to do, and we don't get to watch him in the play-in.
56 games, bro, 30 points. Like that dude did damage.
They need to fire Pelinka right on with Vogel. They might as well just bring Rich Paul in to be the GM. Rich Paul and GM. You wouldn't like that more?
Hell no, not for LA. No,
that's pretty much what it is, right?
It's camouflage right now.
So of course, with the NBA playoff as it is, it has been solidified. What we have is currently in the East, we have the number 7 Brooklyn Nets taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 8th spot. You have the 9th spot Atlanta Falcons taking on the 10th spot Charlotte Hornets. As we say, 2 out of 3 stated that Atlanta gets that win and moves on. And then, of course, I believe 2 of the 3 believe that Brooklyn will get that and move on. Of course, that would put Cleveland against Atlanta. Does Atlanta beat out Cleveland?
Again, it just depends on which Hawks team shows up. You've seen like 2 or 3 different versions of the Hawks this season throughout the season. So which one shows up? Are you going to get the Trae Young that's going to go out to prove that he's a young talent, that he's a phenomenal player, or are you going to get the Trae Young that wants to be the next Steph Curry? If he's going to live out there and try to throw up all those threes, it's not going to help their team. But when he's putting it all together in the flow of the offense, that Trae Young, they can do some damage. But that other guy that shows up from time to time that wants to live beyond the arc, they won't go far with that.
The Hawks is the scariest team in the play-in. I put my money on
Hawks scariest team in play-in. I think it's Charlotte, but I can see where you at with it. Of course, in the West, you have the number 10 seeded San Antonio Spurs will be traveling to the Noya to take on the number 9 seeded New Orleans Pelicans. Number 7 seeded Minnesota will be playing host to the number 8 seeded Los Angeles Clippers. Of course, between those 2 games, I think I got Minnesota and New Orleans getting those W's, in which that means the Clippers would potentially face the Pelicans, in which I think the Clippers will go home. I think Minnesota and New Orleans get into the playoffs. Gentlemen, what do you think?
I can agree with you with the Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Edwards and Cat out there, man. Me
The best
being
shooting big man ever, you mean?
for me being a resident up there, it would be good for them. A former resident, I should say. It'll be good for Minnesota, but I think that they have a better team than those teams that you mentioned. San Antonio, man, what a surprise to even be where they are as far down as they were. Uh, um, I don't think that there's much there for them to lean on. So yeah, I think Minnesota, but I don't know New Orleans though. That's so you said that the Clippers. I don't know. I think the Clippers get in.
Clippers in Minnesota, of course.
Yeah, I think the Clippers get in.
It's just an LA bias with me. I'm not going to even lie. So of course, we have the number one seeded Phoenix Suns and the number one seeded Miami Dolphins. Miami Heat in the East and the West. The two seeds for the West, the Memphis Grizzlies. 3, the Golden State Warriors, as they would take on the Denver Nuggets. And 4, the Dallas Mavericks, who will be playing against the Utah Jazz in the East. The number 4 76ers will take on the number 5 seeded Toronto Raptors. Number 3 seeded Milwaukee Bucks will be facing against the number 6 Chicago Bulls. Of course, the T2 seed belongs to Boston. In the East, I'm looking at that 3-6 game in the East. Do y'all think? And I'm very sure because of the conversation we had earlier, you think differently. But do you think for a second that the Chicago from the beginning of the season shows up in Milwaukee? That was a pretty wholehearted laugh there, Ron.
Was that a serious question? I hope that wasn't one that you prepared for.
No, it wasn't. I did not. That was.
It gets swept.
Yeah, I think I don't think the Bulls are going to be tough enough. I don't know about sweat. I think they may win one game.
Gentlemen's sweep.
So of course, and that's so. I asked y'all this question before we get into a little of the NFL topics to finish out. Excuse me. What or who do you think the player is that they can get enough love this year?
Ooh, great question.
For me, it's Devin Booker.
Really?
That's
interesting. Yeah, I say that because of where Phoenix is. He does what he does day in, day out. Decent. Not great defensively, but decent defensively. He's actually he's the underlying factor. You take him out of the lineup. Would that team be where they are without Devin Booker and just Chris Paul? You have to ask yourself that question. I think he's meant a lot to them, especially this season, with them having the best record in the league, with them having that hunger. I think out of all the players right now, outside of Giannis, I'd say this young man has the most heart, man. Like he has that championship spirit. Devin Booker.
Right.
I follow that up with CP3. Neither of them got love. I wanted to say KD, and I got an honorable mention in Spicy P in Toronto.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So no Malik Monk at all?
Nobody from the
Lakers. Okay.
Who's yours?
Malik Monk.
Really? Remember they said Malik Monk, LeBron, and AD was going to be a big 3 at one point.
Right.
Yes, Malik Monk. So of course, as we start of course, the play-in starts tomorrow, 12th through the 15th April, and then the 16th, the start of the playoffs as we get it started to see who will be this year's NBA champions. Of course, tonight, if you're into sports altogether in football, basketball, the WNBA draft is tonight. Let's go Sparks represent. As hopefully they do. Of course, we know Chicago Sky will be looking to better their squad and continue to defend their championship title. Of course, in NFL, there was a tragic loss as quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dwayne Haskins passes away at the age of 24 as he was struck by a dump truck across the highway in Florida. It was, of course, unexpected. If anything else, he was out doing training with the quarterbacks and running backs in Florida, and yet it has not been stated what he was doing on the highway or trying to cross the highway. The investigation is still pending.
Y'all saw it said his car ran out of gas.
Really?
That's why he got stuck in the middle of the highway. I don't know what's going on. I smell shenanigans.
Yeah, it's a very sad story. He had, he was given, probably was going to get another chance, to compete for a starting job in the NFL. So it's, and not only that, being so young, man, anytime anyone dies is a sad thing, but being so young and so full of promise, man, sometimes it's kind of hard to hear stories like that.
Yeah, and at minimum, I think we all can agree he probably was going to take over at least the backup position.
Yes,
being in being in that system long enough, I think he could have outplayed. Who was the backup? I almost said Tom Zach. What's his name? Rudolph.
Yeah.
Of course, that wouldn't be me if I didn't talk my 49ers. Ron, Cornelius, the Debo talk. Is no need for talking anymore. He needs to play and sit down. He needs to play. 2 years left on his contract. As I said last week.
Can you really say that with a straight face with all this ridiculous money that these other receivers are getting and how valuable he was?
See, and this is what I said the other day. I would say this, and of course, correct me if I'm wrong or if y'all think differently. Like I said I think last week I stated, let's not act like Debo has been doing this all 4 years he's been in San Francisco, his whole career. He's only did it last year. He was injured. He played sparingly on 1 year. He was injured the following year, and he didn't do that. He didn't put in the type of work that he did now. So he still has 2 years left on his contract for him to show that he is worth that money. No different from what I talked about Kyler Murray, talking about what he wanted, like show and prove that this is the money that you're worth. You've only produced 1 year in your contract. And you talk about because it was a year in which you was like the alpha and the omega for the most part. Now you talking about coming about you want 24 to 28 million a year. We're talking about, let's think about the receivers is what you're talking about. Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, who else got paid?
Tyreek
Hill. Like these are the people we're talking about. He is none of them. So it's just unfortunate. It's like you're not that person yet. So you can't. How could you fix your mouth to even say that you're deserving that type of money when you're not? You've only
better than Christian Kirk? Do you want to take a chance of losing Debo?
Yes, I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Oh, if you okay with losing them, then yeah, you're right. Okay.
I'm all for it. I just look at it. You can't. I just look at it as you can't. I think that's what the problem has become is that the players are really starting, which they should to a degree. I think there should be an even playing field, but what you have now is players are starting to cross that line. We have habitual line steppers when it comes down to these contracts. And it's a contract, like 2 to 3 years. Yes, if you feel like I have been a big person to bet on myself. If I feel like I could bet on myself, that means I'm going to, when I go forth and go into doing things, that means I believe I'm going to bet on myself. And so I'm going to go forth with doing, if I'm negotiating, I'm like, okay, I'll give myself 3 years. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for in my contract. So I don't have to worry about saying that I've outplayed my contract and I'm trying to make sure that I'm taken care of before something happens like an injury or you trade me and move me somewhere else that I'm not going to produce. That's what I look at and what I see. He signed unless it's standard. I mean, of course, I believe it's standard for a 4-year contract for a rookie deal. You're supposed to play as best you can. You was a first round talent. So you got selected, you got that first round talent money. And now you need to outplay. Now you're doing what you're supposed to do, but it has been 1 season. You got to play another. You got to show me another year that just is consistent. Or I'm not about to be the one to pay for you, and then you go off and pull the Ezekiel Elliott.
Nope, because he'll have a year next year, and then they'll hit him with the franchise tag.
Oh yeah, they're gonna franchise tag him. But that's the same way they did to Devontae. And with the host, but like I said, we all knew Devontae was gone. Like he was tired of the shenanigans.
I just think that, especially in a trending league like the NFL, where teams quick to piggyback off each other, and players tend to follow one's lead. If one wants out, then the other one. If one wants more money, the next wants more money. I think that and then you have to factor in the NFL, man, injuries. I mean, one injury could be over with. So I say if he can restructure, go ahead and do it. Get what you can out of it, because you never know where it's going to lead as far as career wise. But man, Debo, he's not the only one that I feel like is asking for money that shouldn't be getting money. But hey, but it is the league. It is what it is. So pay the man within reason.
We shall see. Of course, you should see. It'll all come out, but he got 2 years. I just say play your contract, and because when you look at it, if they feel like we need to go ahead and pay him, then they're going to pay him. But right now, you only produced for 1 year at this point, and you've been you've been with us for 3, going on 4. Gronk states that he will only pay for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if he decides to come back. If I'm a GM, Gronk won't have anywhere to come back to. We're not sitting around waiting for you. What makes you think? Who? Like, okay, on to the next one. But I mean, if they feel like he's that much of a asset to the team, I'm very sure they're going to wait for him to see it. But at this point, I'm very sure they're doing their due diligence and they're not waiting around for him. But to sit that kind of talk irks the hell out of me. It's like, if you like, who says there's a spot for you when you talk about you coming back? Like, where you get that from?
Tom Brady said so. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You gonna give Tom Brady whatever he wants, man. So we can stop. We can talk. But the truth is, you gonna give Tom Brady what he wants, man. Period.
I know I'm probably the only one over here that feels that out there, but Tom Brady, I feel the same way. Like, who, like, bruh, you finna play for this position. You old.
What?
Yes, you gotta earn your spot. That's how. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm on. You gotta earn your spot. You have to earn it. If you can beat out who we got here, then you rightfully earn it. But just don't think in which maybe you might feel like I'm not going to be here. Well, okay. We got to get ready to play without you anyway. You just made it easy. You just made it sooner. That's how I look at it. I don't think he's going to have the year that everyone thinks he is. As additionally,
okay.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't. Brandon Cook signed a 2-year deal extension to stay in Houston. Do y'all think he's going to be in Houston or he's going to get traded?
Being that hometown, you see, I got the hat on. I don't know why, man. But that organization is junk. If I'm him, I wouldn't have resigned. I would be looking. I would go play with the Jacksonville Jaguars and play with that organization right now. Like, really, that organization stinks, man. Like, yes, hometown. I'm saying it. All the fans, my loved ones, family, everybody. Hey, that organization, it's in the toilet right now. Got to do better, Houston Texans.
Baltimore re-signs defensive lineman Calais Campbell to a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. Ron, I know we discussed before, we feel that Baltimore needs receivers, but I guess they're showing up the defense. Defense win balls games. Do you agree with this signing?
Of course, Calais Campbell's a monster. I just disagree with everything else the Ravens have done this offseason, which is nothing.
Right. The Ravens are notorious for having good defensive players, but when are they going to put some pieces around Lamar Jackson to actually say that we want to win a championship? Like, stop playing with these so-called receivers. They have a habit of going and get used receivers, right? And not putting talent around anybody on their offense, right? So it's like, when are you going to say, oh, the old run game, ground and pound is done with? We need to broaden our perspective a little bit and put some players there.
I agree. Like, I'm a big fan of Lamar, in which we don't want to see his years wasted away after him winning MVP, and then his next campaign is lackluster. He starts out the gate where he almost took an L, on national TV. Like it's unfortunate, but hopefully they pick up. It seems like a nice draft, a laden draft full of receivers, and maybe they pick up and find a couple of gems in the over in the draft. Ron, I'm sorry, Bishop isn't on here to talk about this. What do you think about Philadelphia signing 3 years Devin Allen, the former Olympic hurdler, after he showed out at the Oregon Pro Day with a 4.37 40-yard dash?
What position does he play?
He's a receiver. Devin Allen. He was a monster. He was all right in Oregon when he played. He broke away because he chased his dream. To he ended up finishing fourth in the hurdles in Tokyo.
Wow. Wow, Eagles, wow. They had all these draft picks. They could have got the best wide receiver in the draft this year.
As well as they're also having conversations with Tyrann Mathieu to bring him in as safety. Is that better? Does that ease the pain a little?
I'm done with the Eagles. They shouldn't have traded those picks.
You really thought that was a bad trade?
It was a bad trade if we're talking about win now. It's a good trade if we're talking about going forward in the future. But they only did it because they don't believe in the quarterback that they got. But it's like, for what? For what? It's like a Lamar situation. Go ahead and put them pieces around you and see what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. They want to trade and wait to get a quarterback in the future.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, saying you bring up the Lamar trade. I got 3 names here. And what we're going to do is make or break. This is make or break. Do you think they make themselves or break themselves this season? The fourth person that's up, Jalen Hurts. Does he make or break?
I'm gonna say, man, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan first of all, so I can't really root for the Eagles, but I'm gonna say the young man is gonna make himself. If he hasn't already proven his resiliency to go through all that controversy, the Carson Wentz and all that stuff, the coaching changes and stuff like that, and to still be competitive, I think he's gonna make.
Ron, you agree?
Yeah. He hasn't given us any reason to doubt.
Okay. Next up, Daniel Jones, New York Giants. Make or break?
Oh, he been broke.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
What does this make this since he's been there? How many offensive coordinators? How many coaching changes? All that stuff. Man, I don't see Daniel Jones really doing anything impressive.
And last one I have on this list, Tua Tagovailoa, make or break?
Even with Tyreek Hill, I think that's another situation where it's not going to work out. It's broken because you go and get this receiver with all the speed, but it takes time for him to get down the field to make those plays. And who's going to block for Tua? How are you going to get the ball out? I mean, those issues need to be addressed for Miami in order for them to say that they got the quarterback that they want. First of all, get an offensive line. Those teams that have their quarterback, they work on their offensive line to protect them. Has Miami made any of those moves to protect Tua?
Now, as you think about it, probably not. I don't think they have. They put weapons around him, though. That's for sure.
We saw Patrick Mahomes have all the weapons in the world, but if you don't block for him, it doesn't any good. If he doesn't have time to get that ball off, it doesn't do you any good.
Ron, make a break.
I think it's gonna make. I got Tua and the Dolphins getting the 12 wins and almost being better than the Buffalo Bills. It's out there, but I see a world, and I want the world where the Dolphins is better than the Dolphins. I said the Dolphins better than the Dolphins. Yeah. Dolphins better than the Bills.
Tua over Josh? That's a large order, bro.
I didn't say that. I said Dolphins over the Bills.
Right. Well, Dolphins, I would think they would. Don't they have to? Doesn't he have to be better than Josh for to be over him?
Right. And he's not going to
And
be
Ron,
throwing.
real quick, where do you see the Patriots in that mix? Are they just going to fall off the planet?
Right. I think that was last year was an anomaly for the Patriots, and they already started falling off towards the end of the season.
Okay.
I got them at like 9 wins. I got Patriots 9. I can see the Dolphins getting 11 or 12 and the Bills getting 11 or 12. But I feel like the Bills, where they were at the top of Mount Everest, and the way they got broke like that is just it's almost like coming off of a Super Bowl loss. It's the rebound is hard to get over. Everybody's gonna be like, man, we should have won the Super Bowl. That was ours. We should have been there. We'll see. The Bills run it back. Power to them. I'll be surprised.
Okay. I got you. I got you. So I asked this question. I asked Bishop this last week, and so I asked you two gentlemen this. Actually, a couple of questions, and which is going to be pretty hard. So, of course, the first question in which I ask is, who do you see as the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end in the NFL? Yours, we can basically say for the most part.
The best quarterback is still Aaron Rodgers, man. As far as quarterback, with Patrick Mahomes a close second, right? I think the difference, but it's a slight difference between the two. One, Mahomes doesn't have the body of work yet, but as far as running back, come on, King Henry, man, all day, every day. Even with a bad foot, I think he's better than most of the running backs that you could put against him. And wide receiver, that's to be determined. Depends on what Tyreek Hill gives you in Miami, and depends on what Devontae Adams gives you as a Raider now, right?
Mm-hmm. Cooper Kupp, stop it.
You think Cooper Kupp?
I'm not saying we don't even have to get that deep into it, but has he not earned and deserved to be at least considered the best wide receiver right now? Triple crown.
Right now, yeah.
Going forward.
Yeah, I give you that.
Now, if he falls off, no, I don't see it.
But isn't it another one of those things as far as like with Cooper Kupp? Isn't it another one of those things that we just said about Debo 1 year? Like, like this isn't like, it doesn't like he has a huge track record of this. So in 1 year?
What I would say about Cooper Kupp is he's developed. He had been developing over the years. What put him over the top is Matt Stafford. That's what put him over the top. That's what put him over the top. I think he was developing prior to, like, what we have to take in consideration, in my opinion, is that Cooper Kupp was doing this already. Like, he holds the record in the NCAA for receiving yards. So it's not like he was a slouch and he was doing this. He was at a lesser known school in Eastern Washington. But he's been a problem, or he's always had the potential to be a problem. He just didn't have the person to get him the ball. He started to ascend a little slowly but surely when they had Goff, and when he got Matt, he just blew the top off. And not to mention he had Robert Woods. Now you sit and when you look at it, Matthew Stafford has kind of like has helped to where now we're talking about Vance Jefferson. Like, they got problems over there, and I hate it. I so much hate it. Like, I hate it. But it seems like they have problems. Los Angeles Rams is a problem. Now you have Allen Robinson, who was a problem in Chicago, and then all of a sudden fell off. We don't know why, but he did. But now he's in LA. So now you move Robert Woods, and you still have the opportunity, which I'm very sure think is not going to happen, to sign Odell Beckham to bring him back into the fold. Like, and with the Triple Crown winner that's currently there. So I don't know. But go ahead, Cornelius, with your last. Who's your tight end?
Tight end right now, I still give the edge to Travis Kelce.
No.
I still give the edge to Travis Kelce.
The disrespect.
It ain't Kittle either, Trey. Get out.
Oh, you're disrespectful too. Oh my goodness.
I was the best tight end in the game, not Waller.
Okay. But even Bishop said, of course I did choose Kittle. Bishop chose Andrews.
I don't know what he doing.
But Waller, okay, Waller. So why would you say Waller?
He's the youngest, most explosive, fastest, and we saw him single-handedly drag Oakland to the playoffs last year. It was just him. Derek Carr That was his only option. Go deep Waller. He had like some monstrous games. Meanwhile, why we can't say Kelsey is we have to see what Kelsey would look like without Mahomes. Well, we're gonna get to see what they look like without Tyreek Hill. If Kelsey's the best, the Chiefs shouldn't miss a step.
Okay, and I presume that you agree with his Aaron Rodgers and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Bishop was
like
Bishop.
Go ahead.
Bishop's was Alvin Kamara, and mine was CMC, C-Mac.
Yeah, King Henry.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way.
Okay. So I now introduce this one to the fold when we talk about the defensive side of the ball, defensive lineman, linebacker,
those guys on
cornerbacks, safety. You said the guys on the way.
The Rams got them all, baby.
You know what? That's kind of hard to argue, man.
Except for safeties.
Yeah.
Until they get Tyrann Mathieu.
I think Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, hands down, best defensive tackle, best defensive lineman in the game. For me, defensive line, it's got to be him. Or you follow up with that Watt guy out of Pittsburgh. That TJ Watt guy.
TJ Watt, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a linebacker, edge rusher, I guess.
The edge, coming off the edge, linebacker. Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
I'll give TJ the best linebacker from Wagner.
Yeah.
But besides that, two of the four belongs to Los Angeles.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey ain't no cornerback getting close to that.
I don't know, man. You don't think J.C. Jackson?
No.
I Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Who are you more terrified to go up against?
Yep, Ramsey. Yeah, it's Ramsey right now.
Safety.
Safety, I like Mathieu. But I would say that it's really not for him. It's going to come down to what team he goes to what impact he'll have, as far as whether he's going to have to cover a lot or whether he can play that safety / linebacker type guy that he's been playing, for the Chiefs. But I still pick him. I think he's still the honey badger, man. I go with him.
He was depressed. He stated that he was depressed and wondered why the Chiefs didn't re-sign him.
Yeah, that's it's interesting, right? Are they saying that he's too old now, or are they looking for younger? Are they looking for more speed? Because he's not that fast, but are they looking for more speed? Is that the thing?
I don't know. He's a ball hawk.
I think it's the Chiefs really going into, phase 2 of their Mahomes dynasty. Like, let's get rid of all these old veterans and not give out all these checks and just go young. Taking a play out of the Patriots playbook.
Ramsey is not that good, as Applewhite states.
Yeah.
Receivers be taking him to school, or the top best receivers be competing with him?
Sorry.
The only receiver I can think of is our guy from Cincinnati. Did him dirty in the Super Bowl, and that's about it. What Debo do against your boy Jalen in the playoffs?
They didn't match up with him.
Who are these receivers? Applewhite.
Well, he played with one of the best ones on it, so I'm very sure they iron sharpens iron.
And the only one that really we can talk about is DeAndre Hopkins, which we didn't talk about as a top wide receiver. So I got to throw him back out there. But D-Hop is the only receiver that makes a joke of Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
Which why I got to reconsider and give him the top wide receiver in the league.
Hmm. So I asked y'all this, which is go ahead, Cornelius.
I was just gonna say to that Hopkins thing. Yeah, if this was 3 years ago, I would say yeah, Hopkins. But the league has changed since.
Fell off.
Yeah.
So I asked this, which is I know going to be hella hard. Well, I believe it's going to be hella hard, but y'all might prove me to be wrong. Who is your Mount Rushmore of NFL?
Ooh, players.
Man, I love that game so much. That's a hard Mount Rushmore.
We got to throw Brady on there. That's easy.
Yeah, Brady.
We got the
Brady.
LT on there. That's easy.
Who?
LT, greatest defender.
Okay, LT. Okay, I'll give you that.
LT, Lawrence.
Last going to.
Say that again, Ron. Who?
I said, who's our last 2 spots going to?
Oh man, it's so tough. I gotta put Jerry Rice up there.
Okay, yeah. So far we're 3 for 3. I'm very sure this is where it gets. It's always the last final spot that is the sticking point. But I would just go out and say mine's. I put mine's. Mine's was Reggie White.
Ooh, Reggie White. That's a good pick, Reggie White. It's hard to argue with Reggie White.
What about?
But I'll go Bruce Smith because I used to love the Bills when he played for the Bills. I'll go Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith,
all-time sack leader, right? Bruce Smith.
Okay, who you say, Ron? What you say, Ron?
I said, what about Ray Lewis?
If LT wasn't on my Mount Rushmore, I would slide Ray in there. I would slide him in there, but LT was the better linebacker in my opinion.
What about Dion? That 4th spot.
Ooh, now that's another tough one. But
actually, I think that's what it was. Actually, I was seeing that it was Dion Rice. Mine was Dion Rice. Brady, which I did not want to, and oh, you know what? I stand corrected. I completely stand corrected. Mine was Brady, which I did not want to. Jerry Rice, Barry Sanders was on mine. I'm sorry, Barry Sanders. Yeah, Barry Sanders and LT. That was mine.
You can't put somebody that quit on the sport and on a Rushmore, Trey.
Right. That's my only thing about Barry.
Still was great
too soon.
He still was greatness.
Yeah, it was greatness, but come on, man. Emmitt Smith with the record, man. All those years Emmitt played to get that record. Barry would have did that in 2 more years, 3 more. We don't even have that discussion. I mean, I'm just saying.
Barry would have been sitting on top of that if he continued to play. Clearly, it wouldn't have been no Emmitt Smith catching him if Barry had continued, but he didn't. No different from Jim Brown. Like either one of them, had they continued on, was looking at would have been sitting on. Walton Payton wouldn't have probably caught neither one of them either. But I mean, they didn't. But I still think Barry Sanders was his greatness was yeah. I think he's the greatest running back of all time.
Oh, yeah. For me,
unfortunate for my man Frank Gore, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Frank Gore. Big props to him, by the way. Isn't he retiring? Didn't he retire?
Yeah. Yes, he did. Here you go, Applewhite. See, here you go with that cowboy bias. So, are you telling me, Applewhite, that he would be on your Mount Rushmore? Is that what you're saying? Emmitt Smith would be on your Mount Rushmore? Is that what?
No.
Like it's greater people than Emmitt Smith.
Right.
But you know, since we talking about them Cowboys and the last time what was this, like 30 years ago? My gosh.
Right. Almost.
We could do the Mount Rushmore of, dynasty teams. Like the Cowboys, those 3 years is up there. San Francisco, throw the Patriots dynasty up there.
You could throw Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh won 4.
Yeah, that was going to
So
be.
I was about to say,
Chicago.
would we say that would the Cowboys would the Cowboy dynasty be on that?
As a Cowboy fan, it would be tough for me not to put on there. I mean, I know San Fran, but I mean,
So like
just
without a doubt,
Bears
Patriots
alone.
definitely, like when Ron said that's of anyone that would be on there
Patriots
would
and
be the
Niners
Patriots.
is easy.
Patriots Niner, and then I would even throw that, like he just said, to the to Pittsburgh, or when y'all said Pittsburgh. So I would be wondering, is there a better franchise at some point than the Cowboys during that time frame?
Old heads will put Pittsburgh and Chicago above Dallas.
And then you got to think of is the Raiders, were they at one point,
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
they were tough.
So it's like so it's one of those things like is there? Although I'm not arguing the Cowboys on it, but I just look at like it was a couple of other ones in which we probably can look at. Was Green Bay at one point? Is there an argument for them?
No, if
No,
we're going like the 40s.
I don't think so. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would say when it first became, did they win like the first couple of Super Bowls or something? And then that was
or at least, or go to at least.
Yeah.
Or
wasn't called the Super Bowl though.
Denver, like you know what I'm saying. So it.
Cowboys over Denver. Cowboys is the sexiest though. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true that.
Yeah, I would have to keep the Cowboys on that list.
I'm with it.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't argue that. The only person I think would be remotely close would have been the Oakland teams, I think. But they ain't win championships. That's the difference. They was just a hard team.
Yeah, they were a hard team.
I wish we could be talking about my greatest show on turf being in this conversation, but the Patriots stole our dang Super Bowl. Cheaters.
Oh, the Rams. Yeah.
We would have had 2.
Yeah. But all those teams that we mentioned, pretty much, those organizations have 5 or more, right? Those, the teams on that list, right? The organizations
has one.
Well, we got to talk about how much they won in that dynasty, though.
Yeah, during the dynasty.
During that dynasty, yeah, okay, yeah. 4 is the most, right?
Yeah,
the Patriots with the 6, right? If you're counting,
that's 2 separate ones.
They had 2 separate days. Yeah, they had 3 and 3.
I mean,
so they could possibly have 2 Patriots on the.
True that 2 different, different eras.
Right,
yeah, 2
different eras. Okay, okay, I see you, Ron. Yeah.
Matter of fact, we might have taken both eras off though, because they cheaters.
Everybody still talks about that cheating, but I think despite that cheating, they were still great.
that's all we got. We can't say nothing else.
Right.
See, now Ron has put that in my head that like Brady, I've just became. I'm not gonna say I'm a Brady fan, but I just became a believer that Brady is that GOAT, and so even now, just the thoughts of that puts me in mind like Brady did it with less. Like, who's name 2 receivers? I mean, of course we know Randy Moss, but prior to Randy Moss, name 2 receivers in which Tom Brady had during those runs.
I only because I am a fan of the game, I can name 2, but they weren't significant.
That's what I'm going to. Like, we know
Branch.
Deion Branch. Yeah, Deion Branch
and Troy Brown.
So in which
Troy Brown.
It was like definitely like you said, Cornelius. Like it would be hard. It's hard. I mean, it would be hard to sit up and pull those names and be like, hey, this is what he had. So he definitely worked with less during that time frame. Of course, we're not going to knock that the fact he had a pretty potent tight end set at that point as well. Actually, more than one time because didn't he have Colts at one time too?
Yes.
And then Bennett, like they stayed with tight ends.
Oh yeah. Definitely a tight end late in the offense, right? And also the masters of the slot receiver after a while, right?
Yes,
he made some slot receivers, right? Like
Mendendola, Julius Edelman, Wes Welker.
Yep, and those guys never really performed on other teams the way they did in the Patriots uniform. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, the slot receiver was a great thing for Brady, right?
Which is all it is. That's his like go to tight ends and slots. And which
Right.
it remains to be seen if that's what he's going to get in Tampa Bay the second time around, or not. So it's definitely it would definitely see. So of course, you know what I'm saying? There we have it today. Our time as we come to the 2 hour mark. We greatly appreciate y'all. Our high speeds rocking with us today. Apple White, you was on it. I don't know. You came for Ron this morning. I don't know. Maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the Philly bed this morning. And you just thought, you know what? This is where all my anguish is going towards. Of course, you know what I'm saying? AP, everyone that showed up today. We appreciate y'all showing up. Who else we had? Freddie, of course, as usual. Wayne, greatly appreciate y'all coming through. Anthony, and the rest of us as we gave. What's going on the Stimulate Your Mind cast, Mr. Cole?
Yeah, check me out every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, with the Stimulate Your Mind radio show coming up. On the show tomorrow, I have a special guest, Mr. Ed Green, talking mortgages and credit. In this market today, his position is that right now is definitely a seller's market, so you might want to check that out. Um, and upcoming music features. I found some new talent, so my next show I'll have music for you guys. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Of course. Matter of fact, if not doing anything, we'd like to have you back on Friday. I know you got try to get you in while you while you on spring break. So if you ain't doing anything, we'd like to bring you back Friday. Keep them rock with us. Or same as Ron. Maybe Bishop will be here as he was like I said, had a little emergency he had to take care of this morning. Hope of course we pray that he's well and made it to his destination and get taken care of. Of course, we look to have. Hopefully, like I see, I won't say it yet, but hopefully, I have a couple of other people on as well. I got to check and confirm with that. As a couple of founders of an organization who have them come on and talk about their aspirations. As we talk about football, we talk about maybe a little different type of football. As I hope to get a couple of WFA. If y'all don't know what that is, Women's Football Association, go check that out and get a couple of them on to talk about their journey and what's been going on in their world. So look forward to this week and next week. Of course, we get back into the NBA, bring on some of their personnel as they get reared up and are roaring towards. You have the military basketball finals at the end of this year, but a different organization. Of course, the NBA gets ready to start their conference finals, conference championship and tournaments as they look for who's going to be facing off um, in their championship finals at the end towards the middle of June, or July. So of course we look forward to that. Just more to come. We greatly appreciate y'all coming out with us. We look forward to seeing you. Of course, y'all know 09 to 1100 every Monday through Friday, as well as we have a show potentially coming up, a draft, a lot of things in the work. So just continue to rock with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all the different social media platforms, that being YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as the E2G Sports Network brand, as you can catch their shows, the different shows. Check us out. I greatly appreciate y'all. Be sure to check out the Stimulate Your Mind podcast. Where you can catch it at? Where can you catch it, Cornelius?
iHeart, Apple Music, Tuned In, all those things.
Of course, that as well as the Speakeasy, DA Speakeasy, as you could catch as Mr. As Ron Lowe's brand. Check them out. Saying doing great things, content, a different type of content, but might fit your palate depending on always a great list as people continue to do great things out there. You appreciate y'all checking it with us, and we look forward to see you tomorrow. At this point, I'll give y'all a hearty show Fallout, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.